Hope we're recording here. As for the sound, here we go. That's 7 pounds. Yeah, it's holding 7 pounds all the way through.
Okay, welcome back to BP Builds. Thanks for tuning in. I'm doing this early in the morning before work because it gets dark out at like 4 o'clock now, so I just wanted some light to film the video. So I'm kind of like the title slide says, the Crown Vic is back, right? So I was gone for a while. I was gone for a little bit, but I'm back now, and I liked making the videos. I liked kind of filming about the car and kind of showing everybody what I was working on. And I'd like to get back into that. You know, I'd like to start making some videos again. I have been, you know, I've been filming, and I have a lot of footage, and I kind of wanted to both pick up where I left off, as well as re-edit and re-release the videos that I've kind of already, that maybe some of you have already seen, maybe some of you haven't. So I've already released a lot of videos on this car, but anyway, this is a 2010 Ford Crown Vic P7B, so this is the police model. They changed the VIN number from P71 to P7B. I believe it was in 2010, and there's really no difference. It's just that they ran out of VIN numbers, and they needed with the P71, and they needed to change a digit to keep building, because I think they made over 1 million of these things. But in 2023 right now, I don't know. I don't see many of them around that much. I mean, they're still out there, but I don't know. The cars are, you know, out of production for 12 years now. But anyway, what I've done to this car is a lot of things. Just staying on the outside. I added the front push bar. The car didn't come with that. I just kind of liked how that looked. That's a brand new. I think that's a Sentinel one. I'm pretty sure it is. No, Rhino. I'll go Rhino one. That one's in nice shape. I also tinted the windows. It's got 50% up front, 20% on the rear, and then 5% on the back. I also lowered it. I cut a full coil. I cut a full coil out of the front springs, and then I put a set of Eaton springs. I believe those were a 1-inch drop. These people here. Those are the springs in the rear. So I think I got about a 1 5/16 drop, and then just a little bit under 1 inch drop in the rear. Okay, so then I can show you the inside. So here's our shifter. So this has a 5-speed, right? This has a TR3650 from an 04 Mustang GT. This is a ham radio, not a police radio, so don't worry about that. I have a license and everything. I also installed some LEDs and a button and some switches. This is for cruise control. This switch is, but this switch is for a water meth system. I'll show you. I've got a gauges, wideband boost, and water temp, old school Sirius satellite radio. But then I can show you the pedals. I'll turn the light on. Yeah, so these are the pedal assembly that we'll go over, and it's been covered before, but this is a 2010, so it's a throttle-by-wire car. And this car had power pedals, you see, and it has traction control. Traction control still works, but when you do the 5-speed swap on one of these newer cars with the power pedals, the trick is to use an older pedal box. You would want to remove your factory power pedal assembly and replace it with The gas pedal you need. The gas pedal you absolutely need. But the brake box with the brake pedal, you want to get one from an older Crown Vic that didn't have power pedals. Mine's from a 98, but something like that. You know, I think you just want to avoid the 2004 model year. That one I think had a different, different brake pedal, but we'll cover that later. So now we'll. The other thing I did was you can't tell from just looking at it, but the rear axle has 390 gears. That's the 8831 spline. So I re-geared it from 327s to 390s. And then under the hood we have Supercharger. So this is a little dirty, but you know, hey, this is my daily driver. If you watch the videos before, if you watch the videos that I had released out before, I completed the 5-speed swap in, I would say, summertime of 2020. And so I've been driving it with the 5-speed for 3 years, and I've been driving it with the Supercharger for just over a year. So if that helps you at all, I can claim to its reliability in upstate New York in the wintertime. So not too much salt on the road yet, but they're starting to salt. So I just kind of wanted to show you before it got real dirty. But it looks different than maybe what you've seen before if you saw this car in the previous videos. But I did a little bit of a redesign on the snout. So this is an Eaton M90 Gen 3. So this case is from a 2001, but the rotor pack inside of it and the snout are from a 2000. But those are both the same. They're both a Gen 3. And I relocated the EGR valve. You see I've got 2 adapter blocks going to the factory. That's the factory Crown Vic throttle body elbow. I had to make a stainless adapter plate to rotate because we rotated the elbow 90 degrees. We then had to rotate the throttle body back to its original orientation, 90 degrees. And I'm using the factory. This is the factory mass airflow sensor, but I did have to do some modifications to it to get the air temp sensor to work. Mounted in a different spot, right? So here's a custom intake air temperature sensor that I built. That's using an NTC, a negative temperature coefficient thermistor, which I matched with the stock Ford curve. We'll go over that in a later video. That's new content that nobody's seen, but I did that because I was curious about my intake temperatures. And if you notice, I moved the intake temperature sensor from before the Supercharger, which the factory location is right there with the mass airflow sensor. But now we're boosted, so we want to know the temperature of the air after the Supercharger before it goes into the head. So that's right there in cylinder. I think that's number 1. On a Ford, that's number 1. On a Chevy, that's not number 1. Chevys are one is over there, I'm pretty sure. At least it is on the boat. But anyway, so I have a right there, 3.3 inch pulley, and then that is the drive pulley. So that pulley is off of that's the factory balancer. That's the factory stock Crown Vic balancer. But I bolted a General Motors pulley, and that pulley is off of a express van, 4.3 liter V6 or 5.7 liter V8 Chevy express van. Believe it or not, that bolted right on. And then I made a little. We'll go over that later, but I had to make a bigger tensioner pulley. Now that I've been running it, I don't know if I needed to do that, but it works pretty good. So then the only other thing that you can see, I got a new battery this year. That gave me a bunch of trouble. Brand new battery, but this is a solenoid, or water meth solenoid. So if you were to follow that hose, it would go underneath. You know, I don't think you're going to be able to see it. Oh, maybe. There you go. Kinda. If you see, there's two brass fittings right around the middle of the screen with the black hose with the loop in the line. So those are dual nozzles. Those are dual water meth nozzles, where I have 2 cylinders, a nozzle, 1, 2, 3, 4 cylinders, a nozzle, 2 more cylinders. So I'm trying to equally space the nozzle so that water meth gets injected after the supercharger. Whereas before I had it mounted here in this plug where I put that plug. That's where I originally did it, but that would cause the water meth to get blown through the supercharger screws, and I'll show you a picture of what happens if you do that. So I'm not running the water meth system right now. Number one, because it's wintertime and we don't need to, but also because my intake air temps are hot, but not crazy hot. They're at about 170. 170. I've seen them as high as maybe almost 180, and that's hot, but that's not anything crazy hot. You know, I'm running about 6 or 7 psi, but here's the pump, here's the filter, here's the tank. This is 50/50 water meth. Hey, my sticker fell off. What the crap? Now here's the tank I was running, or am running. But we'll go over that. I have a whole build series on that as well. But this, and there's a controller that I designed right in there. That's a controller that I built out of a Arduino Nano that's monitoring mass airflow sensor voltage. So the pump engages when it detects a certain airflow rate through the mass airflow sensor that I've programmed in there. So and here's all my stickers. Some of them are getting kind of old. Some of these are a lie. There is no Flowmasters or K&N on this. There is no Excel on this, but everything else I've got. Who doesn't like stickers, right? And then, yeah. So like I said, I plan on re-releasing a lot of the videos. I think my plan is going to be, just release this video, a quick 10-minute video, kind of a review of the car and kind of what the car is and where it is now. And then I want to release a couple videos about just an update of to where the car is, kind of how I got here. Basically what I'm working on now is the tune, and the car, as you saw in that little teaser clip, maybe the car runs nice now. I've been battling. I'm just trying to think of how to say this. I was going through a remote tuning service. I was paying someone to tune the car, and the way that's done is through email. Really, they email you a tune file that you load on the car. But I guess from what I learned is I apparently have very high standards, but at the same time I tried very hard on this build, and I wanted it right. I wanted it the way I wanted it. So I ended up buying my own copy of the tuning software, and I started from scratch. I had to create a 5-speed tune, so I have my own 5-speed tune that I can teach you how to do that. I did do a tune, and I'm hesitant to say you don't need a tune for a few reasons, but we'll go over that later, I think. One of the main things that comes to mind is your speedometer. The automatic transmission has a 24-tooth trigger wheel, whereas the TR3650 only has a 12-tooth trigger wheel. So if you don't have a tune, your speedometer is going to read half as fast. So if you're going 60, your speedometer is only going to read 30. So that's a problem, right? But basically, I wanted to maybe make some videos about where the car is at, and where I'm at with the tune, and we'll do some test driving and stuff like that. But then I really want to get back into re-releasing the 5-speed swap videos, because I have all of the footage from 2020 when I did the swap, and I have all of the footage from the Supercharger build, and I wanted to just kind of maybe re-edit those. When I filmed them, someone else on the channel was editing them, but I think that I now am a little bit more comfortable with editing software and editing movies, so I want to maybe try and re-release the 5-speed swap series with my footage and my editing, you know. So I've already got one done, and I plan on re-releasing a lot of these videos a little bit quicker, you know, maybe every week or every other week. Okay, so stay tuned for that. If you're interested, maybe leave a comment on what you want to see first. You know, do you want to see some Supercharger updates, or do you want to see the 5-speed swap stuff, or would you mind if there was a combination? Maybe I went back and forth, but maybe that would be kind of confusing. Or another idea I had was like I said, I've got all the footage. It's sorted by date recorded, so I'm wondering if I should just kind of do a whole build log of this car, you know, in chronological order. I don't know. I'll think about it, but I've got a lot of footage and a lot of updates to show you. So I'm about to go to work, and you see there's frost on the window. You know, it's December 14th, 2023. So yeah, stay tuned, and I will see you soon.